I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Made in Abyss, Season 1, Episode 7. This episode, we might find out if Ozen is a serial killer. And mutilates bodies and experiments on them.
Mad scientist, world-renowned chef.
Maybe it was, okay, I'm having trouble thinking of maybe it was anything other than just, like, terrifying. We saw a spine. Yes. We saw, like...
But the hands and the feet were totally not human.
Maybe it's something that is just a creature from the abyss that makes it look human,
That's
right?
how it always looks. It never has a head.
Like what? A couple episodes ago, we had a creature that was able to mimic the sound of a person weeping, a corpse weeper. What if this is just a corpse looker? You know?
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I think the real thing that we should be talking about is the cube the thing that we're excited about? Or is there something inside the cube that we're excited about?
Cubes are pretty cool. I don't know.
They could hold things.
But they also could just be cubes. It's pretty cool.
Or they could just be cubes.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Transcended
Whoa.
Her eyes do kind of look like that. Her eyes. Yeah. I think that would be a description of Ozen. The eyes lack a light.
Last episode and this episode both started with like these really profound lines of dialogue.
Mm-hmm. If we're talking a character who's possibly transcended humanity, would they really hold on to earthly sentimentality and desires or grudges?
Yeah, I don't know. Transforms into karma itself.
In the intro, is Liza standing in the field
Flowers of Fortitude? See, that makes me think she's really dead. Okay. Damn.
So they get to keep them to be armed with them.
Oh, what a great way to convey this information. Full 50 years.
So she's older. Interesting, they remain a secret.
About the vessel.
I think Ozen's gonna tell us some stuff that Habo doesn't want us to know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What a cool outfit, though.
Because it's a personal relic.
Whoa. What?
That's not actually right?
What? It brought her back to life?
Her conversation with Leader, didn't she have a line like she was dead?
I got nostalgic. What?
Wonder how long you'll last. For some...
Is she heading to the center abyss? Oh no. Do you have a conception of God?
Like strength? This itself. Isn't because they haven't been discovered. Because it would shake the faith?
Oh!
Is this a test? Glasses. You have to be precise with it.
Refine it.
Unredeemable.
Thousand men wedges.
The secret.
Oh!
Unfit for it. This is a test, right? Right?
What?
The blood's gone from her face.
Subterranean bandits.
Cave Raider Squad. Without even thinking, then faints.
Aww. Everybody's
That's
always
like a
being
common
strung up
theme.
naked in this show. That's the through line. That's what the true meaning of the Abyss is.
Really devastating one.
God, how she's drawn.
Far
Damn.
more cunning and tough than I am.
How do you get stronger?
Today's lesson.
Oh!
That's so true!
Liza's waiting for you.
Beating her down by saying that's not even Liza's handwriting. You're on a mission that's pointless.
Cover up my scars.
Fortitude.
Irredeemable.
Irredeemable?
3 weeks of training.
Stakes. True tough love.
10 days. Return to being a corpse. It really is a last resort.
It's like the trump cards that Habo was talking about all the White Whistles have. Show any mercy.
Can't afford to.
I wonder if this is exactly what Ozen did to Liza in being a mentor.
Yeah. Oh, what if they stumble on some, like, writing in the tree from Liza years ago and she was being put through this? Oh, that'd be amazing. Okay, that was Made in Abyss, Season 1, Episode 7. It was a test.
Yes. For all of the horrors that are probably awaiting us in the abyss, I am very happy for this instance of having us feel a little funky about this person and their intentions, and obviously Habo kind of warning about disturbing things that this character might be telling us, hoping that they don't say everything, all of the truth. But I really like that it's this character whose personality is kind of antagonizing or hard to understand or maybe cruel if you think about it, but their intentions are good.
Yeah.
And I really like that because we know that there's going to be awful, awful, awful things.
Yeah.
That Rico and Reg are going to go through and are going to be experiencing. And I feel really good having this kind of twist where I was like, this can't be like it. This can't be the stopping point. Yeah.
I feel really good and glad to be in very strong hands.
Capable hands,
yes. I
immovable hands.
Immovable hands. And I also like how dark they continued to portray Ozen's character even after it's a test, whatever. There's this nature about them that is so obviously they're old, they've been through a lot, they've seen a lot, but there's this way about them, even on the surface, about how they present themselves that's very unsettling and off-putting to everybody else. And what that did more than anything for me in this episode was show me what kind of character Liza is. I love the idea of Ozen being somebody who's very cold and people are like, yo, what the fuck? She's a little out there, and I have so many scars covering me up, because of all the
effects from the different layers.
Repercussions from the Curse of the Abyss. The 6th layer was immediate kind of thing, and Liza's just that's awesome. That just shows your fortitude. You just kept going, and that is the thing that would then push Ozen to accepting a person like Liza.
This opening sequence that we and dialogue that we got before the intro song about the gaze of inhuman eyes and transcending humanity, it had me at least thinking, oh, are they trying to tell us with this that Ozen has cast off those human and earthly feelings and that they have become them in themselves inhuman and godlike and not having connection or sentimentality or empathy, but really it's a lot a mask, and been down here so long having to deal with all of this stuff and cover myself up and protect myself, and it's a mask, but deep down Ozen's incredibly nostalgic specifically about Liza. And if we didn't, it's really interesting because we get Marlk at the beginning, and that should have been enough proof to me that Ozen is a truly actual loving person.
Yeah.
And that wasn't enough because the reaction of Marlk to this happening.
Yeah.
To how Ozen was treating Rico and Reg, it was this is not a person I know, who are you? And that's what was fed my feelings that, ooh, Ozen actually might be incredibly mean or antagonizing or bad.
I want to read those lines you were talking about, though. There are those who absolutely refuse to stop pushing forward. On occasion, they become one with their personal convictions, transforming into karma itself. What a great line. These beings who, while human, have also transcended humanity and continue to watch over everything with the gaze of inhuman eyes. Mm-hmm. I understand that can apply to Ozen for sure, but I'm wondering how much of that applies to Liza too.
We get this technical idea in this episode that each of the White Whistles are heavily armored with relics that they can personally use that aren't listed, because for their protection those relics aren't listed.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really is that in a way because they can arm themselves with all of these secrets, that in a way is that just a more technical example of them being slightly inhuman or transcending humanity because they have other capabilities. I mean, we have Ozen had done tons of stuff to their arm.
Yeah. We get a look at like a couple other white whistles that we haven't heard about or come across yet, other than Liza and Ozin too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to see where that goes. But I, with that whole, each of these white whistles are able to have a relic that is close to their chest. The relic that we saw that Ozin has right now,
mm-hmm.
right? That isn't necessarily Liza's relic that she just left, right? Even though she did leave it there after winning it in an auction. That, like, are we to assume that Liza doesn't have another relic with her? Or, like, can they have multiple relics at a time that they're, like, going through?
So Liza bought it at an auction.
Yeah.
Which is why Liza had it in order to bring Rico to the surface.
Yeah.
Which would make me think that Liza knew going into the abyss for that mission that she might have her baby down in the abyss.
Yeah.
Which, and there's a lot of questions of, well, why would you even go down? Well, maybe they don't really have a choice because this mission was sanctioned by a foreign government and foreign authorities, and maybe they like had to go down and retrieve this, and so questions there. But why would Ozin have it? Well, if I was Liza and Ozin's my mentor and Ozin is staying at the Seeker camp, I think that would be one of the best places to keep a relic like that so that it could be used in the future just in case a similar happening happened.
Yeah, I absolutely love that there's that deeper connection between Rico and Ozin because of who Ozin was to Liza. Like, Ozin was much more of a mentor to Liza than I had previously thought. Like, I didn't know the age difference. I assumed that they were probably around the same age, and I think that I love it.
Found out how old Ozin
I love it
is.
more because of that, because it feels like there's this, like, it feels like there's ample reason for this training and for this protection because Liza went through something similar. And I think that Rico and Reg have a lot to learn. Reg definitely in terms of like controlling his power, and all of these people have entrusted him with Rico's like life and protecting that. But also Rico is very knowledgeable and has a lot of passion, but I want to know that Rico can protect themselves too. Like I was so scared when Rico got pushed away and then we got to see her like just pouring out blood from her head. She's so fragile in this world at the moment. And going down even deeper, if Reg is incapable for a minute, right, or incapacitated, then I'd be even more scared.
I'm just incredibly happy that it ended up being the type of different parental dynamics with a child, and that was the element that from what Habo was saying that we actually get with Ozin is that like, ooh, Ozin might tell Rico something that would disturb Rico or deter Rico from wanting to continue on this mission or scare Rico. And that's Habo thinking of Rico as in a way of coddling, which might be similar to like Leader wanting to leave out certain information.
I don't think so.
Ozin's like, I'm not gonna coddle her, I'm gonna tell her the facts.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what I mean. Like Habo was worried that, I hope Ozin doesn't tell her about what I'm assuming was being stillborn and then that whole thing.
Yeah.
And Ozin's like, no, we're truth in here.
Yeah.
Like, if she is planning on going and seeing literally the scariest things ever and possibly dying, then I am going to inform her of everything.
Yeah, and I think that being told that was one extremely important, especially and shows the respect that I think Ozin would already have for somebody like Rico. But that,
or at least toward Liza.
Yeah.
Like Ozin would respect Liza enough to give her kid the best chance possible at surviving.
Yeah. I just think that like that reveal was so incredibly unsettling because like not just for what it was, right? Not just the fact that you were stillborn and this brought you back to life, but more of what Ozin said after the fact. How long do you have? That piece of meat, it ran its time and it was going towards the center of the abyss. how long do you have until when's your expiration date?
And is getting toward the center of the abyss when, that line from Habo, everything that comes from the abyss returns to the abyss, is reaching the center and reaching possibly where Liza is waiting a death sentence for Rico, a ceasing of existing.
See, I am worried about that, but I trust Liza more than I trust myself, and I presume that Liza wants Rico to come. You know?
I would think that Liza would also, seems personality-wise from what we're getting, to have thought a similar way to how Ozen handles this situation.
Yeah.
I feel like Liza would have been like, if you're my kid, you can handle the truth.
Not even just the truth, though. Like, the idea that you were saying, like, oh, the closer you get to the abyss, is it a death sentence? Like, I don't
Other than the fact that it's probably a death sentence for a lot of people because of all the monsters.
Yeah, and I don't think that Liza... I think Liza would have thought about that in the same vein Ozen did. Like, if there was any actual risk of Rico not being able to survive this because of the circumstances of her birth, and because Liza seemingly went forward with the invitation to come down or the challenge, I don't think that Liza would think Rico would lose her life just from, like, coming closer.
Right. I want to talk about, I thought it last episode and I didn't say it and I should have.
Yeah.
Which was like, oh, well, did we check if there was actually a person buried in the grave?
Yeah.
I thought it, but then I was like, just didn't say it because I was like, oh, well, they're telling me
Ozen
Liza's dead and that was Liza's
yeah.
grave. So, Ozen... What? I completely forgot where I was going with that.
I think it's an interesting point, though, like, to bring up, though. Like, so...
Oh, I thought of it.
Okay.
So if Liza wasn't actually buried there, and Liza snuck in a note into the sealed documents for Rico, so that means that Liza specifically planted a grave-like site that she knew Ozen would go to.
Or someone.
She knew Ozen, I think maybe Ozen specifically would find, because if you're going to leave all those sealed documents, do you trust just any old cave raider to find your white whistle and all of your documents and stuff?
Yeah.
And it's possible that this was like a very specific spot that Liza knew. Maybe it was up in like the 4th layer or something. So it's pretty higher up than we are going to imagine that Liza possibly is. Therefore, closer to the Seeker camp and maybe more in the realm of where Ozen would travel.
Yeah. It was at a grave on the 4th layer, I believe, and we got last episode that Ozen had the knowledge that Liza liked it there, so that would add credibility to that theory. I wonder where... I wonder where Liza would go without something like a pickaxe, right? Like, does Liza feel confident enough, like, in her abilities right now that she, like, has she, like, exceeded everything within the abyss at this point? Because there's even things in this world that Ozen was like, they're stronger than me. Like, they're gonna take me down. Where's Liza's scale in comparison?
I'm not sure. I think we have proof from this episode that Reg definitely was sent with the mission to help Rico come down, with the fact that Reg's catchphrase is irredeemable.
Yeah.
And we know that Liza has seen Reg before because of the documents, but Reg doesn't have any memories. It's possible that Liza just... why would you leave your pickaxe? Well, maybe Liza doesn't need it anymore. Maybe Liza has befriended Albades that are down at the bottom of the abyss and doesn't need that protection anymore. Maybe there is another form of protection or relic that Liza can use now, and it's not about excavating, which is what the pickaxe truly is for, because maybe Liza's found the secret.
Yeah. There's a few lines that Ozen had that obviously this whole thing was a test, but I think had a lot of I don't know. I was very curious about in terms of, like, the conception of God was a line, and how people around there don't really have that, but they do have the idea of the abyss and how that would fill a certain hole. And I don't think I ever really looked at it that way, but it makes a lot of sense to me that people in this world could. I mean, it's like, it's something that is, it's something that there's mystery to.
It's something to
there's
fear.
Secret. It's almost great. It's bigger than life itself, right? It's
you want to be on
unanswered
the
questions.
good. You want to be on the good side of it.
Yeah.
But you're also using it for. They use it for food as well, and relics for commerce and for technology for society. The other element that made that feel so actually like believable to me was the fact that albedes aren't new information.
Yeah.
They just aren't known of on the surface because, I don't think that would be handled well. I think faith would be shaken.
I really love the idea that there's this whole there's this whole true community down here that is more knowledgeable than people about the abyss that are above the abyss, and they're the people calling shots and making decisions rather than leaving it all up to what's happening above there, because the people above the abyss who've never been in it don't ever or will never have a true idea of what these things truly are or what they're capable of. I have so many questions about Reg because Liza's notes obviously made it seem like Reg was already there, right?
Already there?
Yeah, in the abyss, and she stumbled upon him. So that teamed up with now my subtle reinforcement of Liza and Reg coming into contact and then potentially being sent up to the abyss to get Rico. I have so many more questions about what that interaction would look like.
I have the feeling that what we're getting is somewhat of a humanoid society that has always existed or existed for a very, very long time at the depths of the abyss.
Yeah.
And that if humans in the surface ever found that out, that there were these other, I don't know, there would just definitely be issues with that actual existence of these humanoid people that can live and thrive and exist within the abyss when the people on the surface are so cursed by even going down there.
That being said, though, so Liza, we have a bit of an idea of what her mindset is, right? And how much of an adventurer she is. But she's also well aware that she has a kid. What would keep Liza down there? In my mind, at the bottom of the abyss is something that has potential to be a lifetime worth of searching and a lifetime worth of adventure and cave raiding and discovering new species, and it's like an unlimited well of the unknown. And that itself, whether it's just Liza or a community of people or a lost civilization down there, it's enough to perpetuate Liza's love for this kind of shit,
I would say possibly the idea would be, if there is a wealth of things to excavate and find, that Liza would want her child to come and be a part of it with her in this discovery, and maybe even the bringing of some of this truth to the surface. There's also, I don't even think this is a real possibility, but I guess we can say it, that descent is hard on the body, but also ascent is hard on the body, and it's possible that Liza has gotten so accustomed to being down there. We talk about Marlk not being able to come to the surface because of how long it's been outside of the sunlight, and I think probably never maybe even being in the sunlight, that maybe that is the same effect for people who literally live their lives or have lived 10 years or so in the abyss, that going to the surface would have repercussions.
Yeah. I wonder what this 10 days of training will really do.
It's survival. What is it, 3 weeks of actually training? But this is what, a week of survival training?
A little over.
Over a week.
I wonder what it will do for them, because obviously no incinerator.
Which was a fair point.
10 days down here. Okay, so you it's just to enhance your survival skills, I guess. Out of every anime that we've ever watched, this is the anime I least expected a training arc in. And that is what we're getting, and I'm so here for it, but I have no idea what it's going to look like, because won't whatever you being capable of survival in a new environment is what you're honing. I understand and respect that. But everything you are going to learn about this area is seemingly going to change into the next layer. So it's
it's more just being observation skills, which we know from the corpse sweeper that Reg wasn't even able to notice the other one sweeping in that picked up Rico. It's about being meticulous with your movements and your thoughts and your strategies, we have them in this very kind of contradictory situation where like they're in the abyss, but oh, in this area a lot of the creatures are docile. So are they going to start to feel safe and secure at some point? And then they let their guard down, and that's when they see what this true test is like, do not let your guard down in the abyss.
Maybe.
Like, even something that could seem docile at one moment could actually be, very dangerous threat.
I kind of like that. Like, it's not what it may appear to be kind of training, right?
Yeah,
like,
it felt kind of contradictory for this spot to be chosen and how Ozen was describing it. Like, oh, yeah, you just have to be around here. There's probably a lot of food and stuff. A lot of the creatures are docile. But you can't use your incinerator, and you can't go past that tree. I'll think of it as escaping.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it's a test of like making sure you're observing and you're on point at all times. But you cannot, in the abyss, you cannot let that guard down.
I wonder if it's also going to train us for like trying to be able to make camp anywhere, because we have like we have like parameters of how far we could even go without it being considered escaping. And we're in an area with docile creatures, apparently, sure. But it's, again, unknown. It could be just us, like training for the next layer.
Like, we might be in an area with docile creatures, but who would come into an area with docile creatures? Predators.
That's true.
To feed.
You're right. All right. I think that's all I have. I like this episode a lot. We had that whole speech from Ozen about the conception of God was awesome. Super cool.
This is all super cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I love the show. Love it.
I like the music a lot.
Love it. The show is the best. I'm already saying that. It's so early.
6 episodes in.
7 episodes in. This show's the best. The best ever.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we hope to see you next time.